biggest risks faced by business to consumer, shall we say, retail companies, actually, is that as they open, is first of all whether people are going to come back at all, and that really depends, I think, on the type of business you have. I mean, certainly as we saw the early stages of lockdown, firms that are selling kind of essential items, supermarkets probably the best example of that, actually saw maybe some increased trade in some areas. But of course, that's very different if you're selling something which isn't like an essential item. But if we consider that kind of type of business that maybe isn't selling food or something that we all need on a daily basis, the customer return is probably the biggest risk on people's mind. And then once you've reopened, I guess the next risk is, well, those that come back, are they giving you enough business to make a profitable kind of business model for yourself? And then the third thing that we're seeing actually is if you're relying on kind of bricks and mortar sales, is actually have you got a competitive kind of online offering which is going to kind of make up from lost sales from lost footfall. The reorganisation piece might be worth just mentioning a little bit, because this is actually kind of playing out right now, and certainly my colleagues in the kind of human capital space are now really talking about all sorts of longer term issues which are going to start to come into play, and things like mental health is one of those things. So if you add sort of worries, pre-existing health conditions, and all of these other pressures which are coming from society in general, impact of the pandemic, actually we need to worry about people much more. And this is actually for risk professionals, I think, where we need to spend a bit more time thinking about things, because we're not machines. And a lot of times, certainly in the insurance industry, we want data, we want to be able to calculate, we want to be able to underwrite, and everything be in a nice sort of formula. But actually, quite often we are now in a much more subjective and difficult place to manage. Pandemic Pan-Re type approach, which I think is a real positive way the industry, shall we say, can get together so that it can enable a whole section of enterprise. See, because without that, if it's just taken on its individual merits, it might be very difficult to insure unless it's kind of mutualised at some level. Boil down to the three things I mentioned previously, actually. It's around what can you do to help us preserve cash flow? What can you do to help us with cost control? And what can you do to protect our vital assets? So certainly the questions we're getting from our retail clients fall into those spaces. So if we take it kind of bottom up, protecting the vital assets. So we're seeing a lot of interest in really making sure that the fulfillment centres are well managed, well insured, and operating well.